Welcome to Liberty Today. Sam Kephart is here to talk with Gordon about Clinton-Bush fatigue. South Dakota Republicans want Obama impeached. Bob Ellis is here to discuss that. And Corey Heidelberger defends the rights of women, except those in the womb. All this and more on today's Liberty Today.
It seems like forever we've seen in the political arena the Bushes and the Clintons. You know, it used to be Kennedys everywhere. Well, now it's Bushes and Clintons. And Sam Kephart is suggesting that we haven't seen the last of that.
No, you can tell just by the press that's running now and the way the mainstream media, anyhow, is pushing both Clinton and to some degree Jeb Bush, that we are being pre-positioned, if you will, to accept another Bush-Clinton presidential race. And my issue with all it has nothing to do with, is Jeb Bush a nice guy or not? And for that matter, would I enjoy having coffee with Hillary Clinton? It has to do with the fact that we have 317 million admitted people in this country. It's probably a bigger number. And is this the best we can do, is to recycle elites to come and take another whack at running this country? And my problem is, I am sick and tired of elites, and particularly these perpetuated elites running the country. They're doing a lousy job. How do I know that? Look around, folks. You know a tree by the fruit it bears. We have nothing but political corruption and financial corruption almost everywhere you look. Obviously, something isn't working. Obviously, leadership is an issue. Why would we go back to the same well? Nice people or not?
The reason is pretty simple, because it's familiar, and the more we see of the establishment Republicans, the more they're beginning to look like Democrats. And so we really have we've talked about this. We have a two-party system that really is leading us in the same direction. It's one of the reasons I believe, Sam, that we see these grassroots campaigns really catching fire. We've seen Cantor unseated, and the stage is set for others. And so I'd like your prediction. Are we going to have a Bush-Clinton presidential race?
Right now, I would say that's what it's looking like, yes, because I don't think Christie is going to be able to remediate his image enough with this bridge thing still hanging over him, and it's now chewing into potential
What about
presidential
the Rubios, the Pauls, some of those people? We've talked about this on the program before.
I think they're worthy. I think, seeing what I've seen with the Republican Party, they want somebody that's dead spot in the middle, and has nothing to do with would Rubio make a good candidate or a Ted Cruz. It has to do with the mainstream Republicans who run the party, allow those people enough access to become the mainstream candidate. I don't see that happening.
One thing the Republicans have to learn, and they didn't in the last two elections learn the lesson, that they cannot win the presidency without the conservative Christian vote. They lost it when they ran Romney. They lost it when they ran McCain. What about a Bobby Jindal? He's someone who doesn't mind getting in the face of establishment Republicans.
No, and he's a person of color. He's an ethnic person. And so
I thought you were going to say a person of character.
Well, person of color. No, think about it. The Hispanic vote and people of color were a significant chunk of the last two elections, the presidential elections. And I think a Bobby Jindal, if he was running as an official candidate, would show that the Republican Party is not racist, obviously. Certainly not on its surface.
Wouldn't it be refreshing if we had, and I have to be careful because I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but it would be refreshing in the presidential race if we had candidates of remarkable character. And I think Bobby Jindal might fit that bill.
Well, and I certainly like, is it Colonel West?
Allen West?
Allen West, yeah. He's a very cool cat. And the interesting thing is, when you look at Ronald Reagan's election, he absolutely was unabashedly conservative, certainly in terms of his rhetoric, and he got, I think, a fair amount of the evangelical vote, and he got some independent Democrats. He got some blue-collar Democrats voting for him.
People would argue that the Reagan coalition won because it included measure of Democrats and the evangelicals.
And I would say that's what the Republicans, today's Republican Party, the GOP, if they were smart, would find somebody that fits that bill. I don't know that they're smart enough to do that.
But they can't find a candidate and dress him up to look like a conservative Christian. Or, I mean, you just can't do that. You have to find the candidate who embodies those principles and then get behind them, support them, and elect them.
Yeah, they can't be phony. I mean, right, they have to be
That's how we'll win
legitimately
the
that way,
presidency for conservative Americans. I hope that you are, and I say our cameraman's giving us a cue here. It's not only time is up, but he's holding up this Ben Carson card. I think Dr. Carson has some remarkable traits, but recently he's come out with statements that I'm hearing are not necessarily strong Second Amendment supports, like no one has the right to own an automatic weapon or something of that nature. So it's a little early to cast our lot with a particular candidate. We need to, as Americans, vet them on the issues and on their character. Would you agree?
Absolutely, and I think character and the context of character is decisive, and people need to do due diligence. And I think most voters are lazy and don't do their due diligence. Sorry, folks.
Well, we're here to help. Thanks for watching.